Hi everyone, my name is Rik De Decker. I'm the doctor on the mountain rescue team of the Mountain Club of South Africa. So what we're trying to do today is try to answer some of your questions on mountain trail safety and how to keep yourself safe on the hill and have a great day. So the first question we get often is, how do you plan before you go? How to stay safe on the mountain? The planning starts with where you're going to go in the first place, and there are easy trails that are short and there are long trails that are difficult and complex, and you need to know exactly where you want to go, what your start and entry points are, and how you're going to get out again. Part of the planning is to tell someone before you leave what you're going to run, how long you're going to be on the route, and what time you're going to be out of there. And then to remember to tell that person when you have left that you actually are off the trail and you're safe. The other thing is to set a deadline, say an hour or two after you're expected to be off the mountain, that person you've notified actually then calls the rescue services to go and look for you. This is critical when you're running on your own. The best group to take would be a group of 4. So if one person gets injured, then another person can stay with that person who's injured, and 2 people can go and get help in the shortest and quickest space you can. Part of your planning stage should be making up in your own mind what is the level of risk you're prepared to take when you go trail running. Clearly you can mitigate the risk as much as possible by taking a lot of kit, taking a big team, but part of the beauty and the fun and enjoyment of running on the mountain is sometimes to go on your own, to do taxiing routes, to push yourself to your limits and doing it on your own. But that risk is what you have to get clear in your mind. Are you happy to take that risk? And those risks get less and less as you become more and more experienced, and when you get to know what your abilities are and what your challenges are going to be. So the next question we often get is, what do I take when I go running? Now that you have to balance against the risks that you are going to expect and how long your trail is going to be. But generally speaking, it's going to be to get yourself out of trouble and keep yourself safe. So the most important kit, in my mind, is that if you are in trouble, is to let people know that you are in trouble, and if you want to be found, to make yourself visible. There are several ways. One is the cell phone to actually make sure, but often the cell reception is terrible on the mountains. The other is to have a torch. At night you can make yourself visible by the light. And the very important piece of equipment, particularly when there's mist around, is to have a very strong and decent whistle. If you're blowing your whistle loudly, there are other people on the mountain that will be attracted by that noise and come and help you before the rescue team gets to you, and then gear to protect yourself from the elements while they come in to find you. One of the important questions, maybe the most important, is what should you do when things do go wrong? What action do you take? I think the most important part about that is to actually stop and think. Don't just do something. Take your time and think of where you are, what are your options, what is your context, and what resources do you have available to yourself. You may be in a group of 2 or 3 or 4 people, in which case your options are completely different when you are on your own. One of the most important things is to actually have the correct emergency telephone numbers programmed into your cell phone. So the emergency numbers in Cape Town are very different to those if you're running in the Drakensberg. And you need to do those before you go set off, and they need to be on your ICE number. What you then do is decide what are your first priorities, how are you going to get help, do you have resources available to help the injured person, or you just need to call for help and wait and sit tight. Then keep things simple. Don't complicate matters. That if you have raised the alarm and now a rescue team is coming to look for you, stay put where you told people you are. Don't go walking off and we have to go and search for people where they aren't. That is one of the most difficult things we need to do, is find people that have walked out of the search area, and that happens far too often. So in summary, when you get into trouble, the most important priority is to stop and think and look at what are your resources and what message you want to get out to the world to either help yourself or help the group you're with, to bring what you need to get yourself out of trouble. So one of the common questions we get is, what do I do when I get lost? The most important thing is, don't make things worse. First, admit to yourself that you are lost, and then decide what your options are. Do you know where you've come from? And if so, return to where you've come from. But do you know other options that are easier to find, and you might be able to change your options? The third option is to try and contact somebody and tell them that you are lost, and you are going to find your way out, and you let them know if you have succeeded, but in a certain amount of time, get someone to come and help find you. So finally, the responsibility lies with you to enjoy yourself, keep yourself safe, and empower yourself to know what to do when things go wrong. So best of all, enjoy yourself in the mountains. That's why you do it, and stay safe.